Hi guys, so today we're in Phoenix Park and we're asking strangers on what they think about social media. Hello, would you like to answer any questions about social media, what you think about it? What you think about social media, and just are you concerned about it at all?
Well, I'm just concerned that it's a lot of pressure on young people, that's all.
And what do you mean by
social comparison? You know, everyone thinks everyone else is having such a great life out there.
Do you know about TikTok at all?
I do.
And what do you think about TikTok?
I think it's good, actually.
One thing that concerns me about TikTok is the short form content that they only have. So the videos are all maybe less than 15 seconds long. So I feel like that will impact the youth in a major way, that they will have a very low attention span and they won't be very patient in the future life. So do you think that might play a role in the future?
I don't know if it's TikTok. I think they have a very low attention span anyway.
Yeah, and what do you think is the main cause of their low attention span?
I think it's phones, mobile phones, and social media. It's the constant need to be on social media.
I have a major concern about social media for the future impact, because I feel like we are impatient already. We are unable to focus on things for a long period of time. So I feel like this will only get worse, because you tell a young person to read a book nowadays, like let's say a 100-page book or 200-page book, they're unable to do so.
No, they wouldn't be,
because they can just get that dopamine from a phone. Why would they? It's an instant hit of dopamine, but in a way it makes them feel actually worse about themselves later on, after they're finished with their phone. When they watch 100 videos in a row because it's so quick, they're actually so unsatisfied with themselves later on. So do you feel like this will play an impact on their mental health in the future?
Well, I worked in a play school for a few years, and the nun used to say, like 10 years ago, the children play with a jigsaw or anything, but now they're tired, they're bored after 10 minutes, so you have to keep them more amused.
Yeah, and what do you think about TikTok at the moment?
I don't know, honestly, I try to avoid using social media as much as I can, really.
For what reasons would you avoid using social media? Would you avoid it for mental health reasons, or just because it's a waste of time in your eyes?
I think kind of a bit of both. I think it's just not very productive use of time, and I don't know. It feels like you're doing something, but really you're not really getting anything out of it, I think. I do like to watch YouTube and stuff, and I feel like it's quite easy to get dragged into just watching a playlist of videos, and I think kind of the algorithmic recommendation is really,
it just keeps you there.
It's kind of designed. It's not really designed to give you useful information. It's designed to show you something that's you're just going to keep watching.
What do you think about social media?
I actually have never done a TikTok before. I don't want to spend much time on that because once you start to scroll on your phone, and if you want to just spend 5 minutes, and you probably just spend 5 hours. It's wastes a lot of time, and there are many information which are fake, or they just want to get attraction from people.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And what do you think about the young people using TikTok? Do you think that's going to have a negative impact on them?
I think they can use TikTok because they don't have their mind, or they don't have their own thinking, so they gain information from outside, from other people, idol, and all the peers, and so they can use it, but they just have to tell if it's true or if it's really useful for them.
What do you think about social media?
Well, it's good and bad in ways, if you know what I mean. Obviously you can kind of get flustered with the whole situation. You have to put this persona on to make everything is happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But realistically, it's not. It depends on what way you use it and what way you look at it. If you're looking for it for just likes and things like that, it's not for you, you know.
So you think there's a healthy way, and do you think there's an unhealthy way, obviously?
But I suppose it's like everything in life as well, isn't it? You know what I mean? But
basically everything in moderation kind of mindset.
100%, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And have you heard of TikTok?
Yeah, don't have it, but she has, don't you?
Yeah.
And what kind of usage do you get out of TikTok? How long would you use it for a day?
I don't really use it that much, to be honest. I use it when I'm bored, but
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're bored and nothing to do, you just kind of open the app just to kind of entertain yourself for a while.
Yeah.
Plus it's so easy just to keep flicking.
bullying and stuff that want constantly now to just kind of haven't been on it as much because of it, because it's just very bad. So.
And what do you think about social media impact on the youth?
I don't really know, to be honest.
I can kind of answer that. I'd kind of give it as they're looking at it, and as I said earlier, like it's like with them saying that everybody's happy out there on X, Y or Z, family time and this kind of thing, but who's to say what's really going on behind the scenes? So that's why they could be looking at that thinking it's like the shiny thing that they should be drawn towards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a false persona, as if to say.
Exactly, so it makes them just feel like their lives are actually worse than they are.
Yeah, which is not really right either at the end of the day. So most people I do know kind of take a break off social media from different aspects, different times, you know what I mean? Like it just gets to a stage where you just can't take anymore. You're flicking constantly, flicking it, constantly going through the phone, update.
Yeah.
But technically you don't need it. Your own life is more important, isn't it, at the end of the day?
100%.
Health, you know, so there's no point in trying to put a fake image up on the news for yourself, as if to say, you know. Even babies in prams with a phone to keep them quiet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Kind of take this tablet and shut up.
Yeah, basically.
Stop crying.
And that's where they see later on in years to come where they'll be saying that they have ADHD or they're struggling with some sort of disorder as well.
That's a very good
what I mean?
point.
100%.
Have you heard of TikTok?
Yeah.
And what do you think about TikTok?
Well, I'm not on TikTok, but I can see all the videos on Instagram, and it's very short. They're very addictive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you open the app and then you look at video after video and you just have a mind blank.
Yes, but you see, for the adult brain, this is damaging enough.
Yeah.
How do you feel this is going to impact the younger kids, like 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds? How do you think it's going to impact their mental health?
I don't know, but they're probably comparing themselves anyway to lots of people that they see on TikTok with all the filters. So, yeah.
My biggest concern is attention span.
Yeah.
Their ability to concentrate and their ability to focus on one particular thing that is actually important. And I feel like these short videos have a very negative effect on them to be able to focus on anything that is longer than 10 seconds. Yeah. Do you think that this is going to make their lives somewhat more difficult in the future because of that?
Potentially, I don't know. I agree with you. Don't have proof, but I think it's true.
There's no studies made on it because obviously it's something that's very new.
Yeah.
But I'm personally very worried about that. Do you feel like whenever they're looking at all of this TikToks and YouTube when they're like 3 years old, do they know what's actually real and what's not real?
No, they don't.
They just think like that's the bar.
It's all the same.
This is what all their friends are looking at. This is what they're looking at.
Yeah, they definitely shouldn't be looking at a screen or social media, definitely before 10 or something. I know that's not what's happening at the moment.
Because parents are very used to giving their kids a phone or a tablet just to kind of keep them quiet.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah, but it means as well that they're addicted, that they're looking at the screen and they're hypnotized by it.
So far, most people are actually commenting on people comparing themselves to each other on social media. It's very interesting. They don't really talk too much about attention span. It's just the comparison aspect. The first question is, what do you think about TikTok?
I haven't used it, so I'm not sure.
Do you have anything against it? Do you think it's bad for us? Is it good for us?
I really don't have, because it's from where I am, it's banned over there. So
it's very good.
Yeah.
You're from India or?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's banned over there, so I don't have it on my phone and I never download it over here.
What kind of impact do you feel like it has on the youth?
The contents are not restricted.
Do you think that short form content, like on YouTube, like less than 15 seconds, all of these short videos, do you think that this will have an effect on a young person's attention span?
It does.
Do you feel like the younger people will have less of an ability to concentrate on the actual important things in life, so they're not able to focus on, let's say, even reading a book, because they can get dopamine from those short videos?
Yeah, I do feel that. Actually, I'm teaching a teenager right now. So while tutoring, I feel that it's the attention span is very low.
Okay.
I have experienced that too, and get back to the attention. We need to be very creative for them to back to the books again.
So you need to be very enthusiastic, and you need to be very
similar to these reels and everything, more creative and more eye-catching.
So you feel like you need to put in a lot more work to actually get them to be engaged. than before. And how, if you don't mind me asking, how old is this teenager?
13.
13.
Just into it, yeah.
And do you feel like they use social media a lot?
Yes.
And do you know what kind of social media they use?
She has a TikTok.
She has TikTok.
I am very sure she has a TikTok. She loves making TikToks.
What do you think about social media in general?
I suppose I'd use, like, I wouldn't post much stuff, but I could follow stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
I generally wouldn't post. I'd be quite neutral around it, really. So I wouldn't be actively involved in putting stuff up. But I think I suppose it's something that could be quite good and quite positive, but also some very toxic.
So basically, use in moderation, and less is better.
Yeah. And I suppose it's, you'd also be querying the validity and the facts and the truth around stuff, because I suppose it's sometimes people hear what they want to hear as well. So I suppose if it's become a bit of an echo chamber, like, so, and again that becomes quite can become quite toxic at times.
That's a good point. What do you think is the impact of social media on the youth?
Again, I suppose it'd be something that has to be, people need to know what they're going in for, and people need to know what's I suppose the legacy. Like, if they're putting stuff in there, it can be there for a long time, or it can be misconstrued, it can become turned around and twisted. So that's what people do.
Manipulated against them.
Yeah.
Okay, 10-year-olds and smaller. So what do you think about parents giving their kids a tablet to basically silence them, or to, like, an easy way of parenting? Here you go,
and
there's a tablet.
Well, I suppose my kids are grown up now, so they're young adults, but I would have been very aware of that, and so it probably wasn't as prevalent then when they were at that age, but I would have been very conscious around being able to access it. And when they got their first smartphones, I was able to track what they're on. I suppose I'd set up the Google Family, I suppose.
You can kind of see what they're up to.
You can monitor it, like you were, and I suppose, or you'd have to approve certain apps, or approve certain.
So you have a certain control over it, and this put you at ease.
Oh yeah. And I mean, there would have been 12, 13, 14 at the time. So it's, I mean, obviously get to when the 15, 16, it's very hard to be able to manage that, but so you kind of have to let them off, really.
Have you heard of TikTok? And what do you think about TikTok?
It wouldn't be something I'd use. I know it's massive. I know it's huge. I know it's influencers or people earn a living, which I can't quite get my head around it. So it's because of the views around it. So, and then I suppose the conspiracy stuff around.
You don't know what's real. You don't know what's
real, and I suppose there's probably a lot of propaganda around, kind of, like, I suppose they're saying it's is it a tool of the Chinese government? Are they tracking us? Are they? So I don't know. I honestly don't. But it wouldn't be something that I would be.
A little fact of information: China actually has a different algorithm for TikTok over in their country than they use in the West.
Okay.
So in China they show more positive things. They show, like, people in sports, or people educating themselves, happy things. There's not much toxicity over there. But the algorithm is very different in the West.
It's much more open here.
It's much more variety of things happening here.
Control, I suppose.
My biggest concern is the impact of social media on the youth attention span. Them watching, so Instagram has those short videos called Reels. TikTok has basically only short videos, and YouTube has shorts. So you can see very short videos, less than a minute long. And young people at the moment are only consuming these videos as a primary source of snippets of things. Do you think that this will have a major impact on their attention span in the future?
I think it potentially could, I suppose, as long as, I suppose, in its own place, it's not necessarily something that may lead to that, but because I suppose you would hope that people would read books or read newspapers or articles online. But if that's all they're consuming, and if that's all they open themselves up to, I think potentially could have a detrimental effect.
Because we, as humans, if we are good at being patient, if we're good at focusing or concentrating at a particular thing, we can achieve some great things in life just by focusing on something and building up from that. Do you think that maybe the future generation will actually be less successful in some ways because they're not able to focus as well as we did?
Yeah, I think we could become conditioned to, that's the way we want our information, that's the way we want, and that could be something that could be manipulated as well, because if it's people who only want short, snappy little bits, they're not appreciating the scale of stuff. And as well, I think it's probably potentially an aggressive step to to how people get their information and how to use the information, and they want the short, snappy, I suppose. And I suppose if it becomes the only thing that's available, I think it could be quite worrying.
Those are some good points.
Yeah.
And the last question: do you think that children at the age of 3 have an ability to distinguish reality from the virtual world, from just seeing the tablet, seeing all the content? You know, when parents just give a tablet, are they able to distinguish what is actually real and what is not real in life?
I could think it becomes very blurred. I think there would be. I suppose one thing probably leads into another, and again, if they're exposed more and more to kind of short, snappy stuff, I think it's being able to actually sit back and look around and what the reality is. I think it could be. I think and that's responsibility of the parents, to being able to
control that,
and not manage that and monitor it,
and not use that easy way of parenting as here you go, there's the tablet, enjoy, and I'm going away to make a coffee or whatever.
Babysitter,
a babysitter virtually. That's a good word for it. I'll tell you a quick story. I was in Donegal last week, and we were in a zoo. It's called Wild Ireland, and there was bears in the zoo. So they were just roaming around.
I've heard of that place.
It's very good. And basically there was a dad looking at the bears with his daughter. And his daughter was around 3 years old. She was on his shoulders, and she says, Daddy, let's go look at the real bear. And he says, we are looking at real bears, you silly goose. She says, no, the bear there. He's like, the wooden bear. And there was a wooden statue of a bear behind us, and she just ran up to the statue and she was like, oh yeah, that bear. And I was kind of thinking about that afterwards. I was like, that's that blurred reality. So in case you're interested on how I'm actually making these interviews and how I'm conducting them, I have a camera attached to my bag, I have a microphone right here, and I'm moving around on an electric unicycle, which is right here. So I go around like this, and then I ask people questions. Obviously they ask me questions about my electric unicycle, and this is actually better because they engage with me and then I engage with them. So I feel like it's a win-win situation.